You know, it's a funny thing, the mind. It can hear a story about a star and feel a resonance, a familiarity, as if some part of you remembers being one. And that part of you is right, because the same ionized, living breath of that star, that cosmic plasma, is the very substance of your own energy field, your bioplasma. Let's call it your spiritual body. And that body is listening now, not with ears, but with a kind of ancient cellular knowing. And you've felt it, haven't you? That download. That block of information that lands in your mind fully formed. Like a memory from the future. A future you who's already written the book, already solved the problem, already stepped into that version of reality where things are softer, more magical, more connected. And that future you is leaning back through the mist of what we so rigidly call time and handing you the blueprint. Now you might wonder, what's the mechanism? How does that work? It works because separation is the illusion. The plasma, that divine feminine cosmic mother clay, it's the one substance. Your consciousness is the divine masculine, the sculptor. And your awareness is the divine child that gets to play in the garden they create together. Father, mother, child, a holy trinity that is, in truth, a unified field. And when you understand that, even without understanding it logically, your unconscious mind begins to play with the clay in new ways. Think of a time you were so immersed in play, in creativity, that you lost all track of time. Maybe drawing, maybe building something, maybe lost in a conversation. In those moments, you weren't trying to control the outcome. You were in a state of harmony with it. You were in coherence. And in that state, reality became malleable. Ideas flowed. Synchronicities popped up. That was you operating in plasma consciousness energy. And you can allow yourself to drop into that state more and more easily now because your nervous system is remembering the pathway. The ramifications of this are astronomical. Because if just one person begins to operate from this coherence, it creates a ripple in the collective subconscious. It's like a tuning fork struck in a silent hall. Every other fork, tuned to a similar frequency, begins to hum in sympathy. Your healing becomes a permission slip for another's. Your activated intuition becomes a lighthouse for someone else lost in the fog of their own fear. And the alternative, the side effect of not embracing this, it's like having the keys to a starship and choosing to stay in the garage. It's that lingering feeling of frustration, that sense of there must be more than this, that quiet hum of existential dread. It's continuing to see monsters in the shadows because you haven't yet cleaned the lens of your own perception to realize they're just angels in disguise, waiting for you to stop being afraid so they can deliver their message. The old paradigm of control, trying to cage the unicorn, to harness the plasma with brute force, like we do in fusion reactors, that paradigm, it's breaking down. That's why it hasn't worked. You can't control the mother. You can only co-create with her. And the new era, it's about organic connection. It's about technology that feels like a floating, supportive jelly not cold hard steel. It's about systems that grow like trees, not are built like boxes. And your spiritual gifts, the channeling, the intuition, the psychic awareness, those aren't special powers given to a select few. They're the native operating system of a human being who remembers their connection to the source code. The activation, it's simply a reboot, a frequency upgrade that's available for download right now. You don't have to know how the healing codes work. You just have to be a clear vessel for them to flow through. You don't have to believe in the transmissions. You simply have to stop disbelieving long enough to receive them. And as you do, a fascinating thing begins to happen in your reality. Time itself seems to bend. The linear path fractures into a kaleidoscope of potential. You start to draw the fifth-dimensional mist into your three-dimensional life. The future doesn't feel like a distant point on a line anymore. It feels like a scent on the wind, a pull in your heart, a memory that you're moving toward. And your past traumas, those frozen moments in the 4D plasma, they begin to thaw. You can go back and change their meaning, not by erasing them, but by bathing them in the compassionate awareness of your present self. You can reparent that scared inner child hanging on the meat hook of their own personal hell. And in doing so, you change the very fabric of your destiny. This is the great work, not out there, but in here, in the silent, spacious heart where your awareness rests, both as a wise grandparent and an innocent child. This is where the real magic is brewed. This is where you realize that the quest on was never about finding an external answer. It was about remembering that you, yourself, are the answer you've been seeking. And that remembrance, that deep, unshakable knowing, is the most powerful activation code of all. The transmission's complete. The integration now begins in its own perfect way, in its own perfect time. You're already doing it.